Run them lights up. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Oh shucks! It's time to run them lights up. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we're live and direct, back in effect once again. The BiGDoggChico for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back with another one. Finally. And we got a special guest today. Shouts out to everybody out there, man, tuning in. Let me know where you're tuning in from, how you're tuning in, what you got going on. If you're driving, you know what I mean, pump your brakes and blow your horn and all the other good stuff. Let everybody know you're out there listening to the BiggDoggChico show, man. We tuned in live, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and all the other good stuff. We got another one, man. We got another one and a good one for you. We got the explosive one. I'm honored to have him on, actually. And we're going to talk about some things. We're going to let him answer some questions. So y'all get y'all questions in right now. And we'll go from there. I'm sure everybody's seen his interview and live that he had with my boy Simo. So people texting me, "Hey, you got to go check it out. You got to go check it out, man. He on your bro, man. Go check him out." And so we had a nice conversation. So we decided to get on. And I'm gonna go on his show next Thursday. So y'all check that out. Also, where he does his primetime talk. And now we're gonna bring him in right here, man. Give it up for the one and only Coach Hayes. What's happening, Coach?
I'm good, man. I appreciate you, man, for having me, man. I really do. Boy, it's been a whirlwind here lately, man. So I'm here for it, man. I saw the tag. I think you tagged me on. I think it was Instagram or YouTube or something like that. And I'm a thumbnail now, dog. I mean, bro, you got the ugly face. You could have gave me one of these. You got me with the. It's all good, man. I'm just having fun with it, man. I enjoy these talks, man, and I'm here for it. I'm here for the fun, and yeah, let's get it in. I know we got about an hour. I'm here for whatever, but it's up to you.
Yeah, for sure. I think I got a good hour. If we can go longer, I definitely will. But we're going to definitely get into some comments and situations. But for anybody who don't know, let everybody know that's my point with no point, Coach. Well, before we get into that, I'm going to take them off for a minute. Let's get into let everybody know out there who might not know who Coach Hayes is and how you got started and what you got going on.
Man, real quick, I started this thing off COVID. So COVID happened, and real quick, I was watching YouTube. I was coaching, and YouTube, the COVID sat everybody down. So I'm sitting in the house, and I'm thumbing through YouTube, and I see a dude doing music reaction videos named No Life Shack.
No Life Shack.
No Life Shack. So my homeboy called me, and what you up to, man? I'm looking at this, and I'm telling him, and I'm like, I was just talking about. I'm like, bro, this many people watch a dude talk about music videos. He had like 1.6 million subscribers, and I don't know how I said it. I said, man, what if I did this to high school highlight teams? And he was like, yeah, my man Will. He said, yeah, man, if you want to do it, I got the first person for you. Kamari Wilson, who's a Florida Gator now. He's my nephew. He was the top ranked safety in the nation as a 10th grader in that class. And so I did it. I filmed it off my phone, just real quick, filmed it off my phone, yada, yada, yada. And that's how the station took off. Later on, my homeboy V12, who kind of co-hosts during the Canes Talk Live show, before we really made that a deal. He was like, man, let's talk about the hurricane. So we talked about the hurricane. And that went well. So we started doing that. Then I started doing Coach Me Coach podcast where I just talk about all kind of football. Then, of course, Deion Sanders comes because I know the people in there. You only made your numbers off of Deion. No, Deion is a hot topic. I did some shows and so forth and so on. And it was a good segment. And so we made that primetime talk. And that's what it is for the most part. And so I believe, like most people, you talk about hot topics. Some people made channels off of Coach Prime, and there's nothing wrong with that. And some people have diverted their channels from what they used to do to only talking about Coach Prime. And it's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with that. And so, I mean, we're talking about trying to break the algorithm code, and you do it with hot topics. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. I mean, and so again, I do a show on there. I consider Coach Hayes Football a network, and we have shows on the network, and that's just how I look at it. But that's really that's it in a nutshell.
Exactly, and I understand that, and so I appreciate you giving us that rundown, man. So the situation that happened. Talk about. I'm sorry, the situation that happened. Talk about. You had Colin Moore on there from Life and Football. You also had Rob the Man on your show, and you also have been doing your show uh, alone when you talk about Coach Prime. So tell me about, I guess, the recent situation that went on where you get called a hater.
All right. So I'll just go back. When I talked about Coach Prime and everybody, like for example, when Rob was on there, he said I blasted Coach Prime. Right. I saw the segment that you had on there. And I did at first because I'm an HBCU grad, went to Hampton University, and I was in my feelings like everybody else, right? And I'm like, man, we know we need a dude like this, man, to get HBCUs up because I know what it is in football. Like, I love the fact that he was at a HBCU doing his thing. The PWIs wouldn't give him an opportunity. Jackson State give him a chance, and he's blowing it out the water. Game day is there. They highly talked about blah, blah, blah. And my whole thing was, why leave, baby? We need you. We need your influence, right? Like, and I hate to say it, I was pocket checking, like, you don't need the money, you don't need this to that. And long story short, I got a homeboy call me and say, bro, you're not looking at it the right way. And so we talked about it and whatever. And I go hunting and stuff. So I go my hunting trip, I come back and I do an apology video to Coach Prime saying,
Right.
you know what? More comes out about, I guess, I'm going to just say allegedly because you get sued today, but allegedly they were withholding ticket sales from him and all the different things that they weren't doing on Jackson State's side.
Right.
But when he first leaves, that wasn't really common knowledge. So I go in and apologize, saying, man, look, bro, I went off. I apologize. I shouldn't have did that. I should have got more information, yada, 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 yada. All right, play. Boom. Fine, no problem. I still talked about Coach Prime when things happen and so forth and so on. And then I end up making a segment about it. I say all that to go back to say, now people call you a hater because you ask questions, right? They may not like the way I asked the question, but I'm just simply asking questions. This is a slow part of football, right? You got to, as we know, the algorithm, you got to constantly dropping content, yada, yada, yada. But I still don't think any of my questions are out of bounds. People are saying you're a hater because if I say left, they think that means I don't like right. Or if I say up, they don't think you don't like down. And that's not the case. I tell you, my niche in this whole thing is not recruiting or anything. My thing is trying to bring it to the fans from a coach's perspective, kind of looking behind the curtain, right? I do it on the Kane show. I do it when we talk about other programs and everything else. I don't get into what new ninth grader that this team likes. I don't care about all that stuff. I talk about football and the coaching aspect of it.
Right.
And so when I start asking questions, people consider you a hater. When I said Colorado wasn't going to go 12-0, you're a hater, Coach Hayes. I think that's a realistic deal. Like, we're talking about, yes, they flipped the roster. Yes, they brought in all these players. Yes, they've done these things. But what I'm saying is not far-fetched when you got mega teams ain't even going 12-0, bro. Like, we want to call the GOAT Nick Saban. He only been 12-0 twice in a 13, 14-year career.
Right.
So is it too far off to say, hey, I don't think Colorado going to go 12-0?
No, I don't think so. So, I can respect and understand that opinion. So you're gonna have these people. Well, I'm not gonna say these people. You got a lot of people in the comments. And even one. Let's get to some of these comments. Matter of fact, Coach Hayes is a pirate. The other laugh out loud. Respect to all the HUs from the real HU alum, Howard University.
You see that? You see it right there, baby. The real Hampton University, the real H.
You knew that
And I
was going
respect.
to
Yeah, I'm cool with that. And like a dude in here talking about, Coach, please don't start telling lies about ticket sales that JSU don't do. I'm only telling you what's reported. Am I lying,
Yeah,
Chico? Have you heard that? That
yeah.
they were selling those?
That's definitely something that was reported also. So and we can only go with what was reported. We wasn't there in the actual situation. We go what was reported. And that was what was reported amongst other things, which probably contributed to his decision to ultimately leave Jackson State. But it depends on how you look at things. You can also look at it as he left Jackson State, but look at all the things he brought to Jackson State and all the other HBCUs he touched. Look at the opportunities he's created with even leaving Jackson State. Now you got TC Taylor as a head coach. You got all these other people who are elevated. Look, whoever is doing the social media for Jackson State now. Look who's doing social media. The whole lane that was created by Bucky and Coach Prime with what they're doing with all the access they're giving. You know, they've created things that's a whole different realm
And
in
to
college
move
football.
to add to that, because Deion Sanders goes to Jackson State, it intrigues Tennessee State to reach out to Eddie George,
Eddie George,
Hugh Jackson. So
Hugh
yes, there
Jackson,
are some
exactly.
residual effects to what Coach Prime did, and all of that is in my apology video that I did December. I think it was Christmas Eve or whatever it was. But like I said, I'm here to answer questions from y'all. So
Right.
you asked me about Colin. And like I say, Colin, my man. Now, don't get me wrong. People want to say, and I hope that he don't have hard feelings. If he does, he's more than welcome to call me about it. I didn't attack him. I'm just saying we saw things differently. But if he feels a certain way, then please, Colin, reach out to me, dog. I'm like Master P. I'm not gonna talk about nobody on my record, dog. Like we can have a conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But because someone doesn't agree, then you're a hater. No, I do it. I said my own Miami Hurricanes going 7-5, dog.
Right.
You
Right.
know, even Rob said on that, oh, I think he mad because Kamani McLean left Miami. No, I was the first person to say Kamani McLean made a good decision.
And
Right?
I heard that myself. I heard Coach Hayes say that on his videos that, that was a good decision for Kamani McLean to definitely go up there and play with Coach Prime. And also, I definitely said that too. Anybody in their right mind, and whoever played football, been in a situation like that, will realize the perfect situation that this is for Kamani McLean, in my opinion, to be in. He's like in an incubator system with the greatest to ever do it to show him and teach him. And he got a mentor, somebody who's done it and been through it with Travis Hunter in his same position to follow through. I
And
think it should be a pipeline for cornerbacks. See, Lester also should be headed up there also. So
Charles Lester
that's just
broke his tape down. He can play. He's from that area, Bradenton. But like I
right.
said, now notice everybody to my hater. I said if you're a quarterback, go look for Lincoln Riley, Ryan Day, or Lane Kiffin. If you're a lineman, go look at Georgia. Go play for Larry Johnson, Ohio State. If you're interior lineman, go to Clemson. If you're a
Right.
receiver, go to Ohio State. I mean, bro, this ain't got nothing to do with anything. But anyway, go ahead. I'm here to answer your questions
Yeah.
and just have a conversation, man.
All right. Let's see here. Another question, Coach Hayes. What you got in that red solo? Respect to you. What they talk about?
Come on my cup. Well, it
Yeah,
depends on what show I'm in. If I'm on the Cane show, it's cane juice. When I'm on
yeah.
Colorado, I call it the Colorado concoction. But it's all
Colorado concoction
yeah, it's just fun, bro.
with
Yeah,
a little bit of buffalo sauce on
that's
on
it.
the side.
Yeah, let me sprinkle a little bit on that. There you
Shouts out
go.
to Tony the Pod Boss for the 499. He said, I'm a CU fan, but Colin was delusional talking about CU roster can stack up with Bama and Georgia. Colin, you're welcome to join on, man. You on, on the phone. Go ahead. Go ahead and click the link to join on.
Yeah, I don't have, like I said, I don't have no issues with anybody. I just was bringing up points, and we talked about
Yeah,
this too, Chico. When you're on a podcast, you have to have a a back and forth, a yin and yang. You ask a
Exactly.
question, you receive an answer. And
Right.
then the answers usually spawn new questions, right? Like
Right.
whatever the answer is, it spawns another question and another question. That's what they call conversation. That's
Exactly.
all.
So,
Mhm.
what you saying, that some people are delusional saying 12-0 and saying that back to that question, saying that they have the same amount of talent as Georgia. Cisco also said Coach Hayes actually more thinking 6-6 over some writers or recruiting websites who are predicting 3 wins, period. Yeah, 6-6 is over the 3-win threshold, but is that's your prediction right there, right, Coach Hayes? 6-6.
That is 100% accurate. People out there talking about coach said 3 wins. I never said 3 wins. I've said 6-6 from the beginning, bro. I even said on the show which 6 they, but I still got it written down here. Still got it written down. Nebraska, Colorado State, Arizona, Washington State, and Stanford. Those are the wins I have.
Okay. Okay. Well, you can. Some people say more, some people say less. Everybody's going to have predictions. Me myself, I didn't even make a prediction. I'm like Coach Prime said. I'm just going to say we're going to be better, a better football team than we were last year. You know what I mean? Because either way it go, you're setting yourself up. This is not spades where you got to look at your hand and say, I see 4 in the possible and put it out there. You ain't got to do that. We ain't playing spades, dog. So,
Yeah. Like
um,
Florida National, you did say 3 wins. I challenge anybody that said that if I dispute anything they say, go through the videos, cut it out, put it up. That's all I'm asking. Call me
right,
a liar. Call it up. Go through my video. And that's the biggest problem, though, Chico. People are not watching the videos. People don't watch the full videos,
right.
right? People are not looking at, and context matters. Now,
And
he may have heard, watch this. I'm gonna show you how context matter. He may have heard, well, if Colorado wins 3 games, it was a question to ask maybe somebody else. That's not
uh,
saying I said that.
uh-huh.
I'll
And
give you a very quick example. Alabama fan. She loved Alabama. She went off on me. Coach Hayes, you always talk about Alabama gonna lose. But when she looks at the context, I do a college fantasy draft. Her dad was watching the tape. When she went back and watched it, I said, for all those Alabama fans out there, if you think your team the best, then come pick them all in your fantasy draft. But all she heard was Coach Hayes said, if you think your fans the best. I was talking about the fantasy draft, but
right.
people don't want to take context, and that's what happens. People get messed up when it comes to snippets.
And same way with someone Jonas said right here. Nah, Chico Prime said they will win it all. I mean, first of all, if you're a coach, what else would you say? And secondly, I haven't heard him say that particularly per se. We gonna win it all like a guarantee. Nobody's gonna do that. He said we're gonna be a better team than we were last year. So
And we're gonna dominate.
and we're gonna dominate.
And
Um,
there's even a video, Chico, of him saying, they asked me about record prediction. I may have it off a little bit so y'all don't Twitter me to death.
yeah.
But there's a video of him saying, man, we're going to win it all, but I don't want to do that because I don't know if y'all with me or not. Now, that's part of coaching motivation. I'm not taking that for face value, but
Mm-hmm.
he's motivating his team to say, dang, we really got to believe in what that's coaching, dog. But
Yeah, I
anyway.
feel you.
Mhm,
But anyway, so I was watching a little bit more of the Colin interview. Y'all were talking about some of the players.
mhm.
What was your opinion on some of the players and some of the questions that you had about some of the players? Like one particular, you was talking about Big Tank being the left tackle being. You said the offensive line as a whole. How are they going to hold up? In the Pac-12, being that you have a guy from Jackson State and a guy from there's 2 guys left over from a 1-11 team.
So
Like,
what I said was, I clearly simply said that I think Colorado has some patchwork to do at the offensive line. I said you got 2 guys coming in from Kent State, you got 2 that's left over from the 1-11 team, and you got the guy from Jackson State playing. And that was based off of my previous interview with Rob the Media Man, right? When we
okay,
talked about depth chart, that's and when I said that, I was saying, let's be honest, that is not the most stout offensive line. I was asking, but again, there's question response. I
yeah.
was asking that to say, okay, what makes these guys from Kent State valuable or viable to play versus throughout the Pac-12? These are my questions.
Well,
Again,
here's my answer to that. I would say
Okay.
anytime you're coming over as an offensive coordinator to any team, is it's imperative that you bring over someone that can help translate your offense to the other players um, that's there, right? It's very important for that. So you bring over two guys that graded out as the top two offensive linemen on the Kent State line last year. That means
Mhm.
not giving up those sacks, you know, carrying out their correct assignment, no bust. That's Savion Washington, the right tackle, and then Big Jack Bailey, the left guard. Now, Jack Bailey is predicted to play right guard this year. Both of them has good size that you might see on any offensive line. Um, Pac-12, of course, got some huge Usos out there, 340 plus pounds. You know what I mean? But I think these guys are tailor made for the position or for the scheme
Offense.
for the
Mhm.
offense that Sean Lewis is bringing. And you got to have those big athletic guys rather than those big road graders in this offense, and that's what those guys are.
And so you see the answer that you gave? That's a sufficient answer. That's all I'm asking. You win it. See, people have to remember, I do the show, but I'm also asking these questions to learn more about it, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't lie.
yeah.
I don't have time to dive deep all through every team that you talk about. So I bring guys on who I consider, I call them experts because I'm here to pub, but guys
Right,
who really follow these programs, right? And say, guess what? Let me get your information. That's why I
mhm,
brought Rob on. That and our original show wasn't even about the depth chart. It was about something
right.
else. And I changed it because I said, let me learn more about the depth of Colorado. And
Mhm.
then I even brought up a point and I said to Rob, I said, y'all got 15 wide receivers, but there's only a two deep at the offensive line. And
Right.
so and so I was saying he ended up telling me, hey, well, we brought some more JUCO transfer guys in, so forth and so on.
Exactly.
My biggest thing is, but you are answering questions though, Chico. When I ask a question, it's not hate. I'm asking to create conversation that you said, hey, he got these two guys from Kent State that's coming in that knows the offense that is imperative to have in order to get ahead of the game, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
That's a legitimate response.
Okay.
Not that we balling. I mean, and I'm not trying to be nasty or funny,
My dog
but
he's
I'm
all
not.
in,
Yeah,
and
but
I'm
I'm not
all in
knocking.
also. We
Yeah,
all in, with
yep,
whatever
yep.
we believe in, what we're thinking, and
But Chico, I'm
that
not knocking it. Well, I'm not saying that. I'm saying I'm trying to get we're having
yeah,
conversation back
yeah,
and forth.
yeah,
It's
right,
not a negative. It's a you pose questions to get a response because guess what? What you just said, I guarantee a large percent of your fan base are not that maybe not that deep into football, and you just
mhm,
educated them to say, "Dog, I guess that is a great idea that
yeah.
he brings in some guys that may know X, Y, and Z."
Right, right. And the same thing for the two guys that was left over, the center, Van Bam Wells, a freshman who made the All American freshman team out there in the Pac-12. What was it? Yeah, All American. I'm sorry, but the point is, these guys can still play. You might have been on a 1-11 team, but it's a team game. So you pick and choose, and that's why it was so good for Coach Prime to have that spring, just like he had that COVID season, that COVID spring for Jackson State. It was so good for him to have the spring in Colorado, so he can evaluate all these players, give them an honest, fair shot. Everybody is on the even playing field. I'm coming in, but I'm gonna tell you like right now, I know how to weed out the ones that we don't want immediately. I could tell you right now in the meeting, hey dog, if you
Mhm.
don't want to be here, if you go ahead and hit the portal right now, and
Right.
see that's going to get rid of a percentage that would have left anyway. They're
I
gone.
agree.
And now you're going to put them through this training program that you're going to have your guys go through, that your dogs can go through. Matter of fact, I'm gonna bring some of my dogs in to show y'all how it goes through this spring, right? And show y'all it's not too hard. It's not nothing brutal. This is real football. They go through it in the spring. Some of them don't even make it to the spring game. More power to them. They decide to leave. Cool. It opens the doors up for Coach Prime, and he can use his staff like tentacles or like octopus, the arms of an octopus out there. As he's the head, he stays in Colorado he stays stationary. Everybody else goes out there, find their players, bring them back to him. They can hand pick now and say, okay, we had a guy here at this position. He's out. Bring him in. He fits what we're looking for. No different than what the NFL does with their draft, free agencies, and things of that nature. They look They look for those specific guys. You just saw Georgia get 3 or 4 6'7" offensive tackles, right?
Mhm.
That
I'm sorry,
wasn't by
turn the
mistake.
light up. I don't know why the light going down so much, but anyway,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And that wasn't by mistake. Georgia has a prototype for those offensive tackles. Big, long, strong, 6'6" to 6'8" monsters. And that's
Mhm.
what they go out and that's what they go get. No different
So
from
so
what Coach
so
Prime has
so to your
established in
point
Colorado.
to your point, you see how you just simply educated? I brought up the offensive lineman from Colorado last year, and you simply say, "Hey, he was first team All American in the Pac-12."
Freshman, yep.
But that's my point. That
And then
I'm sorry, I gotta stop saying that.
uh,
But when we're having conversation and you simply articulated that, I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, he was worth keeping from that team."
definitely.
These are I'm not saying that Coach Hayes know each and everything. I'm asking questions. But when you ask questions, it seems as if you're hating. I'm saying you got this guy, and let's call it a spade. When you look at depth on the depth chart, because I don't want to be the what if coach anymore. I see no sco in the building in Florida Natural.
Oh, you know
But
those people.
bro, it's the same. I get it's the same group of people, no problem.
Yeah.
Look at that, Landry check. That's my point. Laugh out loud. So anyway, when you're talking sport, you're also going to start talking injury. So
Yeah,
now that backup guy, he has to come in. I've always said this backup guys are more important than the starters, believe it or not, because that's what keeps the train rolling.
better
You
believe it.
understand?
And if you look at any Power 5 school, they are built up of a bunch of 3-star guys. Now, if you look at the ratings, all right, you got a bunch of guys rated. You got
Yeah.
about this many guys who are gonna be 5-star. About that many are gonna be 4-star. Most of them are gonna be 3-star, and there are tiers to the 3 stars. Those top tier 3-star guys are the ones who are at these Power 5 schools, and those are the ones who make up the majority of the team, to be honest. And then you get those top 5 or 5-star rated guys to go and sprinkle them in to those schools. But most of them are made up of these 3-star guys, and the backups and the depth is what make these championship teams, because you're going to have injuries. You better believe it. You just don't know when, where, how. You know, uh, Colorado already had one guy go out, the transfer from Florida, Big David Connor. He was a 6'6", 300-pound offensive guard
Mhm.
monster, and he tore a pec. So he's out 3 to 5 months. Or Coach Prime them hope they can get him back faster, but he's out 3 to 5 months. So these injuries can come, and you never know when they're going to come.
And to your point, not mine, to your point, Chico, you
Yeah,
got guys who are hurt and we haven't even played yet. I'm sorry, I gotta
right.
because say we, you're not we. Colorado hasn't even played yet. It goes to show that injuries are it's inevitable. And,
Yes.
and to what I'm saying, those are the things that I talk about in shows. So you have people that understand what the depth value is of cats, you know, but nobody wants to answer that. Their answer is, but we ain't gonna get hurt. But you got a guy literally, you just said tore a pec lifting weights.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you go back and look at it, Travis Hunter on the very first play of the spring game looked like he tweaked his ankle.
And I broke that down on my film. Looked like the guys were damn near trying to hurt Travis out there. On that first play, he caught the ball, and he twisted his knee on.
Yeah,
You see,
yeah.
I was pulling at him still. Like, bro, get up
He
off
let
him.
the ball go and grabbed his foot. Luckily, he
Yeah.
didn't get hurt.
Lucky he didn't get hurt.
You are in a gladiator. This is the closest thing to gladiator sports you're going to find. So
Believe it.
scrapes and scratches are inevitable, and sometimes guys go out. And I'm just asking, when the fan base, when we have conversations, don't think every question is hate. Don't think every question is I don't want to see Coach Prime win. Don't think every question it is football content. We are content creators, and you're creating conversations. I just don't know how else to say this, but because people have a certain view and they don't want to hear anything else you say is hate. I'm looking at the chat right now. You
Yeah.
you you have a condescending tone. You tell me, do I have a condescending? I'm just talking, bro. But I'm condescending. I'm not. I'm just talking like a normal talk. I
Yeah.
and I don't and I'm not here to win those people over. I'm
Right.
just here because I said I would reach out. We would have a conversation and talk. and it is what it is. But I'm here to answer any and all questions to what people think I said. And I'm telling you, if I said it, I'll say I said it. If I didn't say it.
Well, here we go. We got a question coming in right now. We got Old School going to check in. He going to ask a question and see what we got going on right now. What's happening, Old School? What you got?
Hey, Chico. Hey, Big Dog Chico. Thank you, brother, for letting me on. And yes, thank you for having my chum. I mean, my friend, Coach Hayes on too. Boy, I'll tell you, don't run him off because we need him to be around at the end of the season because he had to stick around and pay up. But I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna go there with him right now, Chico. Chico, look here. Don't be fooled by that man. That man is the instigator. He starts stuff. He real slick with you because he playing the innocent role. But don't fall for the innocent role. A lot of the people's out. Even matter of fact, them Hurricanes, they do that. They do that real good. They play like they suffering now. But when they come down to 11, get about 6 or 7 games up under their belt. Boy, they be trying to talk crazy. But he can't do it, though, so he ain't got a leg to stand on, so he want to take Coach Primes away from him. But he ain't going to be able to do it, Chico. Don't let him fool you. He's trouble, and we're going to take care of him. Right, Coach?
That's right, Old School.
There you go. Boy, I'm telling you. That's all you got to do, Coach. Just agree. And we'll see at the end who right or who wrong. Just agree, Coach. We gonna get you. We coming, Coach.
Y'all beat me in a submission. I'm just agreeing from now on. I'm just gonna agree. I'm just gonna be beat to submission, and I'm just gonna agree because I mean, Old School come on my show too, Chico. So I know Old School well. But I know Old School. But I'm just saying,
Old School went in on you right now. I was about to say y'all got to have a history. Old School going in.
Yeah, he give it to you. Already said he called me a chump. I'm cool with that because Old School know ain't nobody too far away from getting slap too fast. You know what time it is. Ain't nobody above the slap, dog. But anyway, but to have fun, but to say this, I get to have fun. You know, even your man Carpet Tech, not to bring him up, them two go at it, but even Carpet Tech didn't necessarily tell the truth on that show. He said, I bet Coach Hayes $50 on TCU. That is not the truth. He bet $50 that TCU would go 12-0. I mean, that Colorado would go 12-0. Then he said, we can bet every game. See, don't tell the part truths out there.
Okay.
The whole truth was, just like Mr. CEO. Mr. CEO want to bet me that Colorado was going to go 12-0. I took the bet. That's like if you bet me right now, the Miami Hurricanes will go 12-0. I'll take that bet too.
Right.
I would. Because the likelihood of these teams going undefeated is astronomical, bro. That's not hate.
Right.
That's straight statistics and probability.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. So Carpet Tech is not telling the full truth. We bet a full season. I said 100. He wanted to go 50 because he a boss and he be smashing out in the S550 because he said he cut it. He write checks and stuff, but that's cool. But then he said on your show, I bet Coach Hayes $50 on TCU. That's the truth, but that's not the whole truth. So I'm here to tell the truth.
It's all right. See, nope. Wait, Big Dog, let me tell you something. I know better than that too. Look here, Big Dog Chico. Look, and he's draft snitching too. It's not a bet, it's a donation. And my probation officer is listening right now. I did not bet him. I'm donating money to him, and in the end, I'll be able to laugh at him. That's it, lady. Don't listen to him. He's
hold on, Old School. I'm gonna put you out here. Old School. What was our donation agreement then, Old School?
11-1
for the season. Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we're fair.
Right.
Okay. Good enough.
Yeah.
Well, Old School, man. Go ahead. Give me one more, Old School.
I don't want to cut you off. See, I want you to understand why. See, look, your Prime ain't gonna do no worse than he did the last 2 seasons. Everybody on their team that's gonna play gonna have to step up what they did before. That go with Shadur all the way down to the kicker. You got to step their game up even before. That go with Coach Prime too. Look at his game last year. He was what? 11-1.
Of course.
Okay, and the year before that.
Right, same thing.
Okay, so I don't see no fall off. And if anybody else see a fall off, they blind. They're a sucker. Like that guy you talking to right there. And you take advantage of people like them.
Well, see, me, I don't see, I'm not necessarily saying I see a fall off or anything of that nature. I see a different level of competition. I see a different conference you're going into, and I see a different, you got more resources also, good fact.
Chico,
you have more resources now to build and bring in more players. So, you could be in a situation where you sitting you feel a lot better about your roster than even what you felt about at Jackson State. You know,
Right. There you go. That's
overall,
my point.
yeah.
Matter of
Do.
fact, he
But the
could
only
have
difference
outdone
is
himself.
exactly. I feel you on that, old school. The only difference is though is you playing against guys who have already been established as a team, and been doing it, so they have like a lot more horses in the stable perceivably. But if we've never ever seen a roster get turned over like this, to where you can bring in this many grown men, 22, 23, and 24-year-olds. I'm sitting here telling you, Coach Hayes, if you're not
No, I'm
taking
sorry.
that
No,
into
the reason I'm
account,
laughing, I'm laughing. I'm sorry, because he telling me, Coach Graham say, Coach Hayes, please listen and don't overtalk. I haven't overtalked anybody, bro. I listened to the question and answered. I'm looking at the chat like,
okay,
but anyway,
okay,
go ahead. That's why I was laughing. I wasn't laughing at what you were saying. I'm laughing
yeah.
at this. It's
I just feel
unbelievable.
like the roster that they have, top to bottom, really can, you know, surprise a lot of people. Whoever they're playing in the Pac-12 is going to be a dogfight. It's not going to be. I'm not overstepping or overlooking anybody now. Whether it's Arizona State, whoever's on the schedule, Utah, Oregon State. Everybody has a chance to win, and everybody has a chance to get smacked on too now. So, just you know, whichever way it goes, it's going to be. They got a roster top to bottom that can compete with
Anybody.
anybody in that Pac-12. I believe top to bottom. Even when you talk about depth, you know it. See what you guys got to factor into. A lot of these schools they bring in a lot of high school players who have to develop in 1 or 2 years. Coach Prime is trying to win right now. So he went out and found from what was available the best guys that would fit his system that are hungry right now, who have 1, 2 years left. And then the freshmen that he has bringing in are studs. You know, they can step on the field and play right now. If not, next year. That's what I'm thinking. That's why a lot of people are probably so high on them, because you get to see each and every player top to bottom of the roster. So you excited about the guy that's third on the depth chart, so to speak, as
Yeah,
opposed to a guy at USC you might not really know about him right now because there's so much hype on the starter right now. You know what I mean?
I
You know,
totally agree. Real quick, and I'm gonna stop looking at the chat, but like Florida Little, I don't know if you like to put that up, but this is a prime example of the nitpicking and stuff.
you said Florida natural.
No, Florida Little, Florida National. He just hate me though. I'm cool with that, or
Okay.
she. I don't know.
Florida Little.
Florida Little. It says Coach Hayes is an undercover hater as well, disrespectful. Just a small example. He calls and reveres himself as coach, but more often than not refer to Coach Prime as Dion, gold jacket or proven.
I agree. And I have a problem with that also. Thank you for mentioning it. That's another problem I have with you.
Hey, y'all gotta excuse me, but I laugh at if it's funny to me, I laugh at it, Coach. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't mad at you. What I'm saying is,
Hey,
look, people are like, we've been knowing Deion Sanders since the 80s. And I apologize. I've said this before. I've even said it on my show. Sometimes I just say Deion Sanders. I apologize that y'all like
it's not like it's not his name.
There's no disrespect. But old school told me I agree, but he come on here and call me Trump, and I'm cool with that because I like to have fun. Guys, I'm not
old school. That's one on your old school right there. He got you one on you right there. Old school. That's a good point.
I'm being disrespectful because I call him Deion Sanders.
I'm sorry, Coach.
No, don't be sorry. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Hey, old school. Anything else you want to add though? One more thing you want to add?
No, I'm sorry.
No, you all good, man. You all good. I appreciate you joining on. Old school.
No, all I want to add is hey, all I want to say to this, Chico, look here, Coach, don't go nowhere, Coach. I want you to stick around because we want to get all the subscribers. We want you to do all the shows because we need all the money we can get, Coach. I'm telling you, Coach, I'm trying to pick up pennies I can and send them over to you. Not only just to you, I'm going to Vegas too, Coach. I'm telling you, boy, they give me more odds than you is. So you know I'm going to pick them up. Well, I'm telling you, Coach. I see you, Coach.
Yes.
Hey, Coach, I told you, Coach, I told you before, Coach, I told you before that I'm stalking you, coach. You ain't gonna
I
get
only got an
away.
hour, old school. I only got an hour. I would like to talk to some more
Back,
people.
coach.
I got 20 minutes
Appreciate
left.
the
I only
old
got
school,
20
man. I
minutes left.
appreciate the old school, man. Appreciate
Yeah.
you joining on. We got more people in the chat right now. Shout out to Marlo Stanfield. Oh, now Tisha Don. Oh, now Reggie. 3035. Oh, now Mac Mill, Florida Natural. Who else? Paige and MC and the H family always in this thing. Florida Little talking a lot of smack. Let's see what Florida Little said. Coach Hayes is undercover. Okay, that's the one that you read right there.
Mhm.
Man, y'all getting in on Coach Hayes, man, because from what I've seen, Coach Hayes giving breakdowns and giving his opinions on what he feels, on what he's seeing. You know what I mean? Some people are gonna say I might be hating in on the players that I'm breaking down also. So, but everybody's gonna have a different opinion, whether it's on this side or that side. You know what I mean? So Coach Hayes is a Florida boy just like Coach Prime. He said he came from they've been through some of the same stuff. You know what I'm saying? So talk to me.
I'm hard, man. I I I don't know, bro. I guess I take that kind of stuff because people don't look at it that way, and I understand people, but I don't understand how people consider me hating if I ask a question. Like,
Right.
okay, to drive conversation, right? If I came to you, you don't have to answer this. I'm just talking. If you was
Okay.
on the show and I say, hey man, what do you think? You say, hey man, well look, man, I think they're gonna go 10-2, right? I'm putting words in your mouth, literally. And I said, okay, well, right now the odds are 3.5, right? I said 6-6. What do you think if they go 6-6, Big Chico? Stop. You don't have to answer. I'm just saying that's driving conversation back and forth, blah, blah, blah. But as soon as I say that, I'm a hater. I'm just talking because, like you said, you can win, you can lose. I'm
Right.
entitled to my opinion. People are entitled to theirs, and that's just where it is. And anything you do or say, I'm not here to change their mind. That's fine. Just don't lie on me. Don't put words in my mouth. And I challenge anybody, go pull any of my videos, anything that you say I've done, and I'm telling you opposite. Go pull any video, and I'll stand by exactly what I said, as long as it's within context. But
Right.
anyway, go ahead, brother.
I got put on to Coach Hayes as a balanced podcast with solid football knowledge. Definitely not a hater. Shouts out to MC checking in
Thank you, MC. Appreciate it.
for sure. Let me see. Coach Hayes, it's prime, baby. Florida Natural said, I'm giving a lot of love to Florida Natural. We get somebody else in. Lil Dre check said he gonna cry in the car. With all due respect, Coach Hayes, you okay? Dang, I'm just clicking on random ones now,
But
Coach.
it's,
So
no,
just
but it's
to
the
let you
same people. Nope. No, like even what is it? Lindell Scared, whatever just said I'm gonna go cry in the car.
Yeah.
I'm gonna answer this like Colorado fans will answer, but I don't have a car. That's the kind of stuff that'll be said. Like I don't have a car. So how can I cry in the car? I don't have a car. I have a
Yeah.
truck. I have a truck. That's exactly the kind of response you'll get. Instead of saying, man, if I go cry in the car, it's because I really got emotional and Chico really, took me out back and whooped me good, man. And elaborate. They'll just say, I don't have a car. I have a truck.
Well, I'll say this. I think these guys are primed for a great season. You know, if people whenever you have some type of success, there's gonna be some people that's gonna be labeled as a hater. It's gonna be some people that's labeled as a rider, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be all type of people, but that's just chatter in the background. Just
Don't
gotta
lie
do
on
what
me,
you
Mother
wanna do.
Chico. That's all I'm
Yeah.
asking. Tell them people don't lie on me. Like
Yeah.
Mario Stanfield, he may have just come into the chat late, but I clearly stated who the 6 losses were. Did I not?
Yeah, go ahead, go through it again, then. Go ahead, go through it one more time for us.
Nebraska, the losses are, I gave the wins, so the losses would be the other teams, but TCU, USC, Oregon, UCLA, Oregon State, and Utah.
Hold on, let's stop right there. Let's go through them real quick. All right.
Sure.
TCU, the first one, you said that's gonna be a loss.
I said it was a loss, and I would like to now explain.
Okay.
I say simply it's a loss. Didn't say it was a blowout. Didn't say they're gonna beat them by 90. I just considered it a loss. Here are the variables of why I say that. Does it not mean that Colorado can win? Sure, they can. I simply say it's a loss because they are a team who, yes, I know they lost a lot, but you're bringing back a quarterback that was on that roster. You're bringing back guys that were on that team, right? You're bringing back guys, and they're playing it at home. It's going to be the biggest game in the country, right? It's going to be prime time, no pun intended. And I don't know. This is why I say this, because this is what I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you're bringing in all of those great players that you guys have at Colorado, this will truly be their first war together. This is their first experience together. They didn't even play a spring game together. They're gelling, they're bonding. But you know, Chico, as well as I know, that when those stadiums get the lights get big, I'm not saying it's too big for those players, but how do they work in tandem? How is it when Shador, when you know this receiver, and I look at you, I could look at you and I know what time it is. I don't have to say a word. When I look at this person, yes, can that happen with people? I'm just giving examples of why. Second is TCU going to give you their best, just like Colorado going to give you their best. I just think it's a huge stage. You coming out the gates with the defending or the runner-up to the national championship. And that's all. That's the only reason. I'm not saying they're going to beat them by 1,000. It may be a late field goal. I just feel that it's going to be that way. And I know we spoke about that a little bit, and I'll let you if you want to go into that, but we can go down that list. And that's all I'm saying. I don't think I'm too far out of bounds.
Well,
but
I'm not.
People call you a hater. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not too far ahead in the rest of the schedule, but I can comment on my opinion on the first game and the reason why. I think it'll be a Colorado win, and like you said, it could be about a field goal or it could be a blowout. Who knows? I'm not discrediting TCU and the talent that they have and the team that they have, but I am giving credit and just respecting the fact that you don't know who you have coming in here with Coach Prime, with his staff, and what they're really looking to bring. You can go study all of the film, like we said earlier. You can go study all of the film you want to, and usually what you'll do is you'll go back, you'll study the offensive coordinator's film and the defensive coordinator's film, and you'll try to compile something from there. Well, here is a situation where you have an offensive coordinator and an offensive analyst, defensive coordinator and a defensive analyst, which is where their influence is going to be all over this offense and defense. You know, with Pat Shermer coming over his offensive schemes and wide receiver motions out of the wide sets. You got
Sure.
Dennis Thurman, who ran the #1 defense with Jackson State with Coach Prime. He's going to have input, and he didn't only do that. He was a former defensive coordinator with the Jets, college football great. So you got a lot of influence on this Coach Prime staff, and then you pair that with, like I said, those hand-picked pieces who are hungry dogs ready to go. They're not guys, not a lot of guys coming out of high school who might be afraid of those lights that's going to be going down in at TCU, which I don't think is some of the biggest and brightest lights in college football. I played in that stadium on that field. It's not going to be too big for Shador Sanders and the rest of that team. They're going to be like caged dogs ready to come out and ball out. And like I said, they're fighting for something.
Correct. And to your point, I just see somebody put in here, and I've said this before. It's funny how somebody brought up the Colorado last year. I don't know, it's somewhere in the chat. I can't see it. But I just made a statement. It's funny how this year's Colorado team doesn't want you to use the 1-11 team because it's not the new team. So you can't use that comparison. But yet they'll use the 1-11 team to compare why they're going to beat TCU. Does that make sense what I'm saying, Chico? Like
well,
somebody they literally just wrote in here. Last year, Colorado had TCU such and such at the half, but that's using last year's team to say why. And to me, let's put things in context.
Mm-hmm.
Back to Stony Dykes. That was his very first game.
Mm-hmm.
So in the very first half of that game, he's truly trying to see what he has. I'm not saying he couldn't have lost that game, but I made this comparison that the Sonny Dykes that was sitting in that coaching chair that day is the same thing as Coach Prime. Now, that's not a hateful statement. I'm just making a comparison to say now Coach Prime is truly going to be sitting in that same seat the first half to really see what his team has. I think that's a fair comparison. So, but when you look at it, it was 7-6 at the half, and then TCU comes out 10 points in the third quarter to none in the third quarter, 21 points in the fourth quarter to 7 points. In the score ended up being 38-13.
Yeah.
But that's my point. God, slap myself. I can't say that no more.
No. No. I think what you're saying
what
is
I'm getting to is the very first game, there is a jab session. If I could take it to boxing to kind of feel out this boxer and see what's going on. And that's what Coach Prime is going to be. My very first coaching job, like my head coach job, I had to see also who I know what I had in practice.
right.
But when we lined up against the rival on the very first game, you got to feel them out and see who that's how I look at it. But I don't think that's a fair comparison. I don't think that's unfair and being called a prime hater.
Nah, and I think that last year that talent of TCU just eventually took over the talent that Colorado had last year.
Correct.
And I like overall top to bottom, and that's why Coach Prime them came in there and look what they had in the stable and said, you know what, we're gonna clean this, that, and that out. However way we got to do it, we're gonna bring in other guys. Now that roster, that talent pool has risen a lot in Colorado, and it has come from eyes of greats who can see these things now. Now, albeit you didn't have a lot of things to choose from in the transfer portal. It wasn't like every player in college football was in the transfer portal now. So, and it is you might have some guys who started here or there, but you didn't have a lot of certified starters in that transfer portal. The guys that they went and got, they had to evaluate and go by measurables and what they project to be, also based off also what the production that they had previously and what they can do. I think that's what they've brought in, and a lot of people don't take that into consideration, which is why I think Vegas have them as a 3.5 wins. After the first game and they actually see the talent and see them on the field, I bet you that's whether they win or lose that game, I bet you that raises in Vegas because they're going to see what they have.
I agree with that. I see. So here's my point. I agree with that. But I'm gonna go back to this. You see the dialogue, the information. I can say, okay, yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree solely exactly what you're saying. After they play that game, there's going to be some excellent things that's on that footage that they can necessarily build on and win other games and take that into Colorado or Nebraska and then Colorado State. I totally agree with that.
Right.
Where I'm going, excuse me, I'm sorry, the Colorado concoction bite me. Where I'm going with this, Chico, is you again, you can't say anything and you can't not even question. We're just talking. We know football. We know what we're talking about. We've been in those games. We know what it takes. And so does Coach Prime. He knows that as well. Exactly. He understands that. He's not a dummy. And I was the first, well, I can't say the first. I'm going to be like a Soldier Boy. I was the first one, right? I'm the first one that I praised Coach Prime for gutting the roster. I even did a video against Pat Narduzzi for saying what he said about Coach Prime.
Yeah.
I did the video, but I'm a hater. Coach Prime used the rule to the fullest extent of the rule could be used. It says the NCAA allows first-year coaches to get as many new players as they want as long as they got a roster spot. And that's exactly what he did. And he knew he had to do that. He went to Rick George, if I'm not mistaken, the AD, spelled out his plan and said, look, this is what I got to do. Rick George checks off on it. I'll accept the job because that's what I have to do. Because if I look at last year's team, and you could basically look at the spring game, since none of those players are typically on the team, it wasn't good at all. There was a handful of guys that's still on the roster, but it wasn't a good product at all.
Right. And that's why I did the breakdown I did, where you can see why these guys are no longer on the team. And a lot of people understood why after they saw that, because had a lot of people, why are these guys leaving? These guys shouldn't be leaving. He was this, he was that. Well, the eye in the sky don't lie. The film, you put the film on, the film says he's this and not that, what he said in the locker room or in the weight room. You know what I mean? So it was a whole different ball game on that in that spring game. I sat there and watched it. Everybody else did too. I hope they I hope they weren't expecting that to be the team that Coach Prime was going to go out there and field in the fall and expect some wins with. The man knows better, so that's why he did better. And most teams in college football, I got to make this point too. Most teams in college football, they bring in guys during or after the spring. They bring in guys during this time or during the summertime. You know, James Houston, sack leader as a rookie in Detroit for the Lions. He came to Jackson State win right around this time right here. He showed up like this. Nobody knew who he was. This is when he showed up at Jackson State, and look what he did, and look where he is now.
And can I say this to you, Chico?
Yeah.
You want to know a hater? If Coach Hayes was coaching, I'd have been cut them dudes from Colorado for the spring. I'd have been in the transfer portal in January.
Yeah.
But Coach Prime, to his credit, he gave them an opportunity to show what they had or didn't have.
Right.
Bro, I'm gonna look at the film and be like, Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike got to go. I ain't got time for that. I'm finna go in this portal and get more. I would have been 70 plus portal transfer back in January, February. He gave them all the way till April to truly prove what they could do on the football field. And apparently, like somebody said, only 10 of them showed what they could truly do. Well, and he got rid of them guys. I would have did that in January because I would have got my guys, all these guys, together so we could play a good spring game. And now I got some stuff on tape I could teach off of. Right. Exactly. I got some stuff on tape. I can say, hey, Chico, right here, baby, right here. You got to make sure you make this step, take this angle. Right now, Coach Prime doesn't have any of that stuff to build off on when it comes to playing in a game together, when it comes to looking at stuff. How does Shiloh look with this person? Or how does that person look with this person? How does the tandem look together? Right? How does Bishop Thomas look on the film when he's playing next to McClendon? How do they look in the blitz package? We really don't have any true footage in a game type situation. That's why I would have gutted it in January and brought them guys in. But again, I get it.
Yeah. Let's see here. Xavier Weaver was all ACC. Jimmy Horn Jr. all ACC or all AC, all double AC. Jordan Dominic third in the SEC in sacks. Alton McCaskill all AAC. Leonard Payne was a starter. They added some good pieces. Definitely did. What do you know about and what do you think about Tennessee? I'm sorry, TCU. Where do you think that they have the clear advantage over Colorado?
Experience. That's it. Just the experience. This not once have I said, go find it on the tape.
Wait, you mean experience like playing together?
Correct.
Like they're
correct.
Okay.
The chemistry, the coaching staff, all of that has been. They're now 2 years in off an exciting run, so they have something to build off of. You can't find one video where I said that Colorado got lesser talent than such and such.
Yeah.
Now, I have to say this. I don't know if they do or don't, because again, there are a lot of guys on here that played, but maybe didn't play a lot. And that's okay. That's not saying that a DeMoy Kennedy won't be great. But if I have to look at his body of work, he's not a lot there. If I have to look at Bishop Thomas, there's not a lot of body of work. I'm not saying he won't be a great player, though, Chico.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So if a guy doesn't have a body of work, or if he doesn't come from a big school, does that automatically makes you look at him differently?
No, not that you don't come from a big school. What I'm looking at is I'm looking at guys, if you're transferring in and we're doing these things, we want to say it's only fair. It's only fair to ask that question, Chico. I always gave this analogy. Chico, you on trial for murder right now. Do you want Johnny Cochran? Knock on wood. Let me knock on wood.
I'm on trial for stealing a wrapper off a candy bar.
Okay, I'll say that. But it's gonna give it could give you murder time. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
All right, I like that. I apologize, but I like that. Do you want Johnny Cochran or do you want my cousin Vinny? Who do you want?
I'll try to get Johnny Cochran.
Thank you. Why? Because of his body of work. Yeah. Just that simple. I don't see where that's out of bounds. But what I'm saying, hold on. But hold on. I don't see where
right though.
I don't see where that's out of bounds. Now, is that not saying that Bishop Thomas will be good? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I have to literally wait till he does something or plays as us, because we don't get the footage of what he's doing in practice all day. We're seeing one-on-one drills here and there. We're talking about footage. We don't get that footage.
Right.
So as fan bases, we're all speculating here. So when you're speculating, you are stuck to what you know. And right now, what I know over here is what I don't know about him. Yes, Colin told me he was redshirt freshman of the year from Florida State, and all that's great and that's good.
Yep.
But I think that TCU wins, to answer your question again. I think, well, like you said, what do they have over them? I just think they have a more team experience, team chemistry, coaching experience. They've been together on a very long run. That's the only advantage they have. And that's why I say they pull it out.
Well, I can respect that. I can understand that. And I think that's why Vegas have them at 3.5 wins. They're taking all of that in consideration, exactly what you just said. And they're not, deep diving and looking in to man, you got some crazy comments on here, but they're not deep diving and looking into the roster like we are, and probably have that same confidence. They're just looking at the overall fact that a lot of guys are coming in and they're trying to mesh this together. I think Coach Hayes is an undercover Colorado fan.
I am. No, I'm not a Colorado fan. I have to be honest with you. I'm a Prime fan.
Yeah.
Because can't nobody say that they truly Colorado fans up in here. 99% of these people here are Coach Prime fans.
Uh-huh.
And because he coached for Colorado, when he changes at some point in his career, whether it's 2 years, 20 years, or 5 years from now, they're going to follow, just like LeBron.
With him. But I think even go back before LeBron, the first person to do it was Coach Prime. He was the one that made a lot of people say, you know what, I'm taking off the team hat and I'm putting on the player hat. I'm going to San Francisco. I never liked San Francisco a day in my life, but now I'm rocking with him. Oh, damn, he left already, going to Dallas. Damn, I thought we didn't like Dallas. Okay, well, we're rocking with Dallas. Whatever team he goes to, that's what we're rocking with. And that's how he kind of helped shape society. The free agency situation kind of helped shape it to be that way. Now you become, like you said earlier, a fan or a player fanatic rather than a team fanatic, right?
Correct. Like I say, the only reason people like Chicago Bulls because Jordan stayed there. If Jordan would have played there, got a ring, and left like LeBron and go somewhere else, people would have they call him Jordan fan. A lot of those Jordan fans became Chicago Bull fan because he was there so long.
Right.
If he would have followed the model, just like they're KD fans, but KD goes to different places, right? As soon as your boy that shoot three, Steph Curry, leave, then they're going to be Steph Curry fan. Right now, they Golden State fans because they like Steph Curry. And I get that. That's not a knock. But I also show you how much a hater I am. I said, if Colorado go to a bowl game and my Miami Hurricanes don't, I'm a Colorado fan. I've said that a number of times. I said that clear as day. If Colorado goes to a bowl game and Miami doesn't, then guess what? I'm a Colorado fan.
You're gonna be rooting for Colorado.
No, I'm a true fan, right? What I'm saying is I'm dropping the Canes. And the reason I say that, because somebody said, I said that because you want to know why? This gentleman came in first year, goes at least 6-6, at least, because you got to be 6 wins. First year and win 6 games. We go first year with arguably the greatest coaching staff of all time. See, somebody in there put in there, well, he got all these veteran coaches. Can I tell you something? That doesn't always mean success. We literally saw that. We had the Broyles Award winner at offensive coordinator. We had a national championship defensive linebacker coach at defensive coordinator.
You're speaking about Miami, right?
Yes, Miami.
All right, now tell me what you said earlier about Miami. After you reel down all of these coaches that you guys have, y'all had these great coaching staffs, but what was the problem then? What was the problem? Why is it that Miami is not on top right now?
Because I've always said this, administratively, we were in bad shape prior to Mario Cristobal getting here, right?
Okay. Hold right there, coach. Hold right there, coach. So administration, but Miami has everything else in place, right? But the administration.
No,
okay, no. But they have the coaching staff in place.
But it just got there. That's my point.
Okay.
They came with Mario his first year. I'm sorry, Coach Cristobal, his first year, and you got to build it. Think about it. They gave Miami $100 million to do stuff. Unfortunately, you can't snap a finger and build facilities. They have to build them, right? You can't snap your finger and just things happen. They end up giving them another $200 million to help build stuff. It takes time to build it.
So
and
what
that's really my whole premise behind Coach Prime.
And so I guess that's what you mean by if he wins 6 games, you're gonna be a Colorado fan if Miami is not there, because Coach Prime essentially came in, snapped his fingers, and did that.
Well, there are some things that they had in place. Yes,
They had
to your point.
good administration, yes.
To your point, you're correct. But there are a lot of other things in place that didn't have to be fixed. So far as you have an AD who was behind you 1,000%. We had Blake James who was backdoor crushing us, right? You have facilities already. Y'all facilities out-knocked Miami's facilities by light years.
And that's amazing to say, because I said this to you earlier. I would think that Miami will have some of the best facilities you could find. You in Miami, big. How you?
But you didn't have to. See, Chico, this is what a lot of people don't understand. And to right there, Tony the podcast, I already said that. If Prime take one of those 3 jobs, if he take Florida State or Florida job, it's over for us, dog.
It's OV.
But anyway, let me go back to answer your question, because I know we get short on time here.
Okay.
But people don't realize when Miami was winning at its height, I've always said this, the internet hurt Miami more than anything in the world, because those players could see beyond County Line Road. And County Line Road is what splits Dade from Broward County. Once though, now you think about what's changing. Huddle, right? There used to be a thing called regional recruits. You had local recruits, regional recruits, and then national recruits. So a lot of guys who are considered, like Kamani McLean would be considered a national recruit.
Yeah.
Fair?
Yeah, of course.
But Asad Wasim would have been considered a regional recruit.
Right.
But yet Asad Wasim is over there at Colorado because of exposure, right? Before, everything was paper. You had to fill out forms and all of that stuff. Now I can go on Huddle, even as fans, we can go on Huddle and look at all these players. Back in the day, you had to wait till a dude came out and played to see if he could really play. You didn't get highlight things like that.
And that's
but I was just saying, that's what hurt Miami, is that now, one, we were losing. The sanctions with Nevin Shapiro really hurt us. Larry Coker didn't understand the power of the internet, and we started losing players to a dude named Nick Saban, who started that way back in Michigan State when he came to get a running back named Cedric Irvin. And Cedric Irvin went to Michigan State, one of the top running backs. Cedric Irvin is the same guy that Mark Ingram gave credit to in his Heisman speech.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of things. And then who branches off from Nick Saban? The Kirby Smart. They understand the formula now.
Yeah.
And this dude right here played for Nick Saban. Dwayne Bowe, play for me.
Yeah, shout out to Debo.
He goes to LSU. Why not Miami? Why? Miami showed up one day to recruit him. Nick Saban was there every week recruiting him. Terrell McGill, I got pictures of him right here. Plays there as a true freshman at the SEC at LSU. Robert Flagg goes to Michigan State and plays for Nick Saban, right? At Michigan State, that played for us. These are things where Miami was suffering. And then we never built facilities and so forth. And now we're starting to do that race, but we're behind, dog. We're 20 years behind.
Prime is primed and ready to go out in Colorado to do exactly what those coaches or those schools in Florida missed out on. And he's saying, okay, y'all want me to go up here into Boulder, like I say, to Boulder where it's colder, where people, would never think I would go, and y'all think I can't do it up here. I'm prime, baby. And so he's going to go up there, he's going to do it. He's going to surprise some people, and then those guys going to come calling like little old baby birds. You know what I'm saying? They're going to come calling, trying to get him to come back there. I don't think he's going to do it initially. I think he's
say that again. You don't think he's going to do what initially?
Leave Colorado and go back to like a Florida State or Florida or Miami or whoever offers him in the state of Florida. I don't think he's going to do it initially. I think he's going to damn near like let him suffer. Y'all see me up here doing my thing. I got a great situation up here. I ain't got to be around a whole bunch of the stuff that I just kind of left in Jackson, trying to help my people, so to speak, and people turn against you. So I'm going to go up here where I'm nice and comfortable again, and I'm going to bring the guys to me in a nice facility, nice incubator type system up here in Boulder on the outside of Denver, right by these Flatirons. Ain't nothing going on but football. And he's going to
I'm going to tell you, I'll tell you this. I'm going to tell you something that may just happen. I'm going to tell you something that may just happen that would definitely intrigue him, because recruiting is still the lifeblood. And I'm gonna tell you how these colleges work.
I'm gonna
I'm
come right
only
behind you with one.
Yeah, I'm only using this as an example, Chico. I'm only using this school because I don't want the people to hater. Let's say Florida or Florida State, because he's an alum. They want Prime bad enough. They'll get rid of the athletic director to bring Rich George to Florida State. That's how business. Listen to me. I'm telling you.
But you think
Because
Coach Prime would leave because Rick George is there?
Of course he would. Because I can tell you this I'm gonna tell you this. All administration, I don't know what you do for a living, but people who work for a living, if you got a good boss,
Yeah, I feel
right?
you.
That's
Yeah.
love. But
Yeah.
when you go, let's say for example, Coach Prime pick up the phone and call Rick George. Rick George be like, all right, Prime, you got it, baby. But let's say they bring in another AD. Well, Coach, let's see now. We need to look at this. We got to look at number. Coach Prime ain't gonna be happy with that. Rick George, he has an open book for Coach Prime right now.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna tell you a prime example. You know who did that? The reason I bring that up, Tennessee did that to UCF. Tennessee hired the AD from UCF, and guess who he brought to Tennessee?
Yeah, he brought his
Josh
Heupel. He brought his guy.
He brought his guy.
I think it'll still be. I think Prime is still much respect to Rick George, but I still think Coach Prime is still the big fish in this. I think that Rick George was just a great match with Coach Prime, just like Coach or AD Ashley Robertson was at Jackson State. I think Coach Prime likes those relationships, and he trusts certain people. And if an AD at Florida is someone he can believe in, trust, or might have had a prior relationship with, then hey, and I'm just saying Florida, that could be any school. But I think with his relationship with Coach Nick Saban, who he calls the GOAT, and like who you said earlier today, praised his recruiting abilities, and just like his offspring, Coach Kirby Smart and Dabo Swinney has learned the formula. I think in some ways he's learning the formula from Nick Saban with their relationship that they're building with the Aflac commercials and things like that off the field. I think he's learning some of the formula, even if Nick Saban might not be wanting to give it up. That's why he went and got Coach Charles Kelly, Coach Sal from Alabama. And different players from Alabama and from those other programs. I think they're going to be able to bring over that mentality. Coach Prime already has the standard. He was trying to do that at Jackson State. You got to think a lot of players that he would have gotten 4 and 5 stars didn't go with him because he was at Jackson State. And people are not going to like me because I made that statement, but there's a lot of players who come from the hoods who didn't want to go back to a hood, so to speak. They wanted to go for the glitz and the glamours of the big schools and those huge facilities. Trust me, I was one of them. I was like, why do I need to go to Alabama State? Although it's an HBCU, I got love for it, but the dorms that they're trying to put us in look like the projects that I'm coming from. I'm not doing this.
And you know what, Chico? That was part of my hate for Dion when he first left. I was like, bro.
But he can't change all of that, though. He can't change all that right now.
I know that was my fandom. That was my drunkenness of fandom. And I had that realization. I'm going to ask you a question. Do you think right now, for the 24 season, the 24 recruiting class for Colorado, do you think there's some big dogs out there waiting to see what they're going to do this year?
For the class of 24?
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, I think they're waiting. Now, you know, some of them are skeptical, just like, you know, anybody else is. Hey, I wonder what they're going to do. How is Coach Prime going to do this? How they going to play, da. And when I tell you, you know, a lot of players are
floodgates open, right? The floodgates open.
They're intrigued by winning and those uniforms and the swag of that. You know what I mean? So, and if they can feel at home with another bunch of Florida boys already being up there and Southern boys being there, they're going to go, especially if they can see where a path to winning and a path to looking good and a path to, you know, you can start your own business with the YouTubes. You got cameras on you from Bucky and Darius and the pregame show. You got people doing interviews with you that's asking if you was a player at I'm sorry, but some players at these Power 5 schools are not getting the same attention that some players at Colorado getting.
Right.
What do you think about that? You got third string guys in Colorado, guys who might not even play in Colorado, who has a presence on social media. right
the
now.
Prime effect. It's the bro, and that's the beauty of it. That's where I support. This is why I say I know Coach Prime will do fine.
Yeah.
But I think we're putting the cart before the horse right now. You will do fine. But like you said, those 24 kids, and this is a prime example. People don't make a comparison to Mario. But those same players, go back to Shamar Stewart, right? Shamar Stewart. He just said, you just hired a defensive coordinator. I can't trust that. We have players on the brink that were supposed to come. But because we put up a 5-7 record, they were like, man, I got to go somewhere else.
I think he was considering Jackson State.
Shamar Stewart?
Yeah, I think if Coach Prime was at a Power 5 school at the time when Shamar Stewart came out, I think Shamar would have went with Coach Prime based off a couple of those reactions I saw him have. I think he would have went with Coach Prime.
Bro, if Prime was at Colorado when he was coming out, he probably would have went to Colorado. I agree with that. People don't understand that power, and I get that.
Yeah,
but there are a lot of these players are sitting back, especially this 24 class, is saying, let me see what product is going to be on the football field first. I don't have to commit right away. Right? I can tell you by game 6 whether I like it or not.
You don't have to commit right away. And in some of them, I bet Coach Prime is telling them, don't even say that right now, dog. You don't have to say that right now. He knows the power of making a splash and doing things in a timely manner. Like he said, he don't have to open up all his presents on Christmas. He was the guy that'll come to school instead of wearing his new clothes on the first week, he'll wear them on the second week. Where everybody else go back to their old clothes, now he come in fresh.
Fresh, bro. So I said, to your point, that's why I was saying the same thing. Is that's also what kind of hurt Miami. We just got JoJo Trader, but we kind of lost out on a Jeremiah Smith, right? Because when you look at our quarterback play and our receiver production, kind of low, even though he changed over the staff.
Yeah.
Like, you have to remember, these players, they don't have the luxury of contract guarantees. They got 4 to 5 years, which they're now saying 3 to 4 years, to make an impact to go to the 3-letter league, which is the NFL.
Yeah.
If you fire a coach today, if you fire Mario Cristobal today, he got 7 years left on his contract at $80 million. He gonna be all right.
You're gonna be fine.
But if I go to a program and it's not productive for me, I lose my opportunity to go to the next level.
Yeah.
And back to that point, why do kids get chosen to go to the NFL? Is it off of potential or is it off of what they've done?
Both.
That's my point. Not just potential, but their potential magnifies because of what they've done.
Mm-hmm.
How many guys you seen go to the NFL have zero stats?
No, that's the thing. That's probably going to be a 0%. If you don't have stats, you haven't done anything. You can come out there and look like Tarzan.
Does that mean he couldn't go to the NFL and become a Pro Bowler that year?
No.
Sure, he could.
Yeah, he could.
Yeah. But the likelihood is what?
Very low.
Very low. And so therefore, that goes back to my whole thing about when I look at these players and we talked about production. I'm saying to you myself, it's the same concept. These guys are coming from other schools. Their production may not be all the way there, but explain how this guy's going to do it. I'm not saying he won't. Well, I can say, well, look, coach, I looked at his high school tape. He did this. He brought great hips. He brought power, speed, explosion. Right. That's the same exact concept of what I was saying when it came here. Now, to your point, Coach Prime and them have evaluated them, but we don't have those evaluations. So if I'm asking another counterpart, how do you come to that conclusion? I'm just asking, how do you come to that conclusion? Am I doing it just because Coach Prime said? Sure, we can all do that. We can all do that. Yeah. But that you don't create content.
If you want to know mine, if you're asking me that same question, why do I think they would do well this year? Why do I think they would be a better football program than a 1-11 team last year?
No. Whoa. They're going to be way better than the 1-11 team.
Okay, so you already know that. All right.
So I've never disputed that. If I'm saying 6-6.
You said 6-6 already. So
what I'm saying is I'm talking about a particular player becoming a top contender in the Pac-12.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying.
Question that you have about any of the players on Colorado while we winding down right here.
Okay.
Is there any player that you have a question about? Any positions that you have a question about? that you
No.
that you might be worried about?
Okay, so part of what I had that conversation with Rob the Media Man or Rob the Man Media was for education, right?
Right.
Again, I don't dive deep into all of these players. It's too many teams. I got all this stuff going on. I'm trying to make WRE videos, edit them. So I bring people on to educate me. That's why I ask particular questions.
Nice.
So even next Thursday, guess what I'm gonna do, Chico? I'm gonna ask you questions about Colorado.
Okay.
I'm not gonna ask you to give me the breakdown for Florida State because you cover Colorado.
Right.
So I'm bringing you on to say, all right, Chico, so we got this young man here at safety. They brought up a big thing about Trevor Woods. And I saw you and Rob talk about that. What is it that Trevor Woods has that may deem him the starter over another person? That doesn't make me a hater.
Nah.
I-
That's a good viable question right there. And to even go into it, sorry, and I hate to say that, I don't think that how can I pose it better? I think that there will be another player who will be starting at the safety position that Trevor Woods played last year. Trevor Woods was a good player on a bad team last year. With the guys that they brought in this year, though, I think they have step up in talent as opposed to Trevor at those positions. Like I said, good, strong player can come up, make tackles, good in coverage, but you got Shiloh Sanders back there now. You got a guy like Rod Ward back there who played at Southern Utah University last year, was a great tackler in the box, a strong safety, rangy safety, sideline to sideline guy. Then you can have a guy like Jock Robinson came over from Alabama who can play that star safety position, who's familiar with it because he played with Coach Kelly last year at Alabama. Cameron Silman Craig, one of the star players for Jackson State last year. Got a bunch of talent at the safety position in competition that's going to be going there and competing with Trevor Woods there at the safety spot. So also you got Vito Tisdale coming over from Kentucky. He didn't play much at Kentucky, but when he did, he was a baller, a headhunter. Also, let's see here. You got Jalen Miller-Jones, young
and we
guy.
can say this, Chico. We can say this for Thursday, but
Yeah.
this is what I was looking for
Go
when
into
I
it.
ask questions, though. We're talking about information.
Yeah.
That's it. Like somebody said, I guess it's a young lady, Celeste, Coach Hayes, the only thing I didn't like about the show was at Life in Football the other night was you seemingly questioning #2 legendary skill at this. I don't know who #2 legendaries. I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is.
Other
You
night,
know who
you
that is?
questioning two legendary skills at this level. Oh, Shador. You're questioning Shador's skills
I
at this level.
never see that right there is my problem. I never question his skill. Dog, go back in the video and watch. I only asked one question. If Shador Sanders broke a shoelace, what happens next? I never said the dude can't throw a ball. I never said he could. I didn't say any of that. Now I did say that you say, oh, they were saying he's a Heisman candidate, and I was saying, how do we know he's a Heisman candidate? He hasn't played. I said that's just like saying Caleb Williams when he first got the start at USC last year. He's a Heisman candidate. He had to start playing for us to know he was a Heisman candidate.
Well,
Like
everybody has a preseason Heisman hopeful list, don't they? Or a projection for
and it's
who
based
might
on
be
what? And it's based on what? What they've done.
and you can't discredit what Shador's done, even though it's been on. And I'm not saying you, but anybody.
Is he on these people's Heisman list? I'm asking.
I don't know, but he should be. He was on some last year. He was talked about being on some last year. He should be on there this year also with the production he can potentially have this year in that offense with those guys around him in the pass heavy Pac-12. He has a chance to be up there. If Caleb Williams, who plays in the same conference that he plays in, won the Heisman last year, they're going to be going head to head. Let's imagine a situation where Shador Sanders is having a great season. He's playing just like he played at Jackson State last year, and you're heading to a USC game where they're going head to head, and he outduels Caleb Williams. Is he not in the Heisman?
Awesome.
He's in the Heisman conversation. That's what we're saying. A lot of people can project that and see that possibly happening, and that's me. I see that happening.
So Chico, the very same thing you're saying about projecting things. When I project something, it's a hate. If I'm projecting something, So the only thing I said about Shedeur Sanders, I never said he couldn't throw a football. I didn't say he was trash. I never said he don't know how to read defenses. I never said he can't be a leader. I never said any of that stuff. So how am I questioning his skills when I just simply said if he break a shoelace, what does Colorado do now? That's it. That's all I said.
They do now. They bring in that backup quarterback who they're competing for right now, Casey Wiseman, and also Ryan Staub out of California. Those two guys are handpicked by Sean Lewis, who he knows can run. Now they're out of high school, but he knows that these guys come from that type of offensive background. They get rid of the
Chico,
ball.
would you say, just in football, we had our conversation, like about knowing that football. Not saying that they don't have the physical ability to play this game and throw the football around the yard.
Mm-hmm.
But do you say that is a tough battle for a true freshman to come in and now put a program as highly I'm trying to find the right emphasized and spotlighted as Colorado? First of all, college football already hard, but then to have the spotlight of the prime effect all over you as well, I'm saying that's going to be a tough feat. Am I saying the young man can't play? Never said that. I was just bringing to the light that, look, if Casey Wiseman or Ryan Trotman, Staub, Ryan Trotman, if Ryan Staub come out and play, not only are they going to have to fight the freshman blues, but they got to fight this media frenzy that's about to happen as a seven. That's hate. You're a hater, coach.
That's understanding.
No, I'm talking about the right-hand side of the screen over here. You're a hater. You don't believe in Ryan Staub. I'm just talking about the things that players have to go through. You understand? Yeah. Even Caleb Williams, when they benched Spencer Rattler at Oklahoma, Caleb Williams had to fight the media frenzy.
Yeah.
Now, he fought through it.
Mm-hmm.
He fought through it.
It's just whether these guys are built for it. You never know whether a lot of these guys are built for it until they actually go through it. We've seen the reason why we can have that confidence in Shedeur Sanders because we've seen him go through it. You understand? It says Shedeur Sanders won Heisman
Chico,
for HBCU
Chico,
yeah.
Please, Chico, please put up Keep It Real Denver Sports Talk. The last comment. This is exactly what I'm talking about.
Comment? Okay.
Not the last. That's his last comment.
Okay. I got a lot of comments coming through, y'all.
It's at the bottom. It's at the very bottom one. But this is the prime example of the rebuttal that you get when you bring up something. This is a perfect example of what I mean when you can't say anything.
What's the name again? Keep It Real.
Denver. We're not thinking about backup quarterbacks too. It's healthy right now. See? That's a perfect example. That's a perfect example of what I mean, Chico, when you can't have a conversation.
Yeah. You said we're not thinking about the backup quarterback. Number 2 is healthy right now. Forget all the other stuff. Well, yeah, number 2 is healthy right now, but we, just like we talk about the depth in any other position, you got to talk about the depth at quarterback also. So that's what we were talking about, Ryan Staub and Casey Wiseman, the 2 that we know that are there on scholarship right now that were handpicked by Sean Lewis. And I think that they're more than capable. After looking at their highlight tapes in high school, I think they have what it takes to step in physically, but mentally and taking control of a ship, with the prime effect. Who knows how that will play out? You will have to see during game time. And hopefully we won't have to look at that. Cheryl C. Oh, now Cheryl C. says, "Smile at the beach. That's why I love licensed football. He's so positive. That is so rare. There are some people who don't like Colin because he's positive. Can you believe that?" Shaking my head.
And if that's referring to me, Cheryl C., and I know I see her in the chat, that's the further, like, come on, Cheryl C., stop. Like, come on, stop. Like, y'all doing too much. Like, this is where you add, you're adding nothingness to a conversation. No, bro, me and Colin have talked on numerous occasions. Lance Leggett, who is actually a Miami Hurricane alum, is the one that put us 2 together.
Yeah.
Right? Matter of fact, didn't you just tell me when you talked to Colin, what did he say about me?
Colin said, Colin was the one, when me and Colin first talked, Colin said, Coach Hayes is the one you need to connect with. You need to link up with Coach Hayes. Coach Hayes is a good guy, good folk. And I still think he believe that.
I believe that. And I don't know if Colin, I hope to God he doesn't. I really do. I don't know.
Where you at, man? I thought you was going to join on, man. If you listen, I thought you
have any issue. And I'm a straight shooter now. If it's an issue, please say so. And I ain't never too big to apologize if you feel a certain way. I really not. I'm not trying to call nobody out. I'm just saying that when you have podcasts and talk shows, like, man, they done hit me with everything. He's God-fearing. You're the devil. I'm like, what? Like, I'm telling you, Chico, like, this thing is taking a life of its own. And here's the funny thing. I didn't even try to have a show. I did a show with Rob. And he texted me to come to the chat. And I came. It was no big deal. It wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
But it's like, because you don't say something somebody doesn't like, you're a hater. This Colin's an excellent dude. He finished every show with prayers. I believe, you know what? I'm a cursor. I realized when we've had conversation on the phone, I've said this to him. I say, dang, I say, you don't curse, do you, bro? He's like, no, man, blah, blah, blah. And I guess what? I respected him enough. I don't curse when we have conversations.
Right, right.
I could have been like, I am who I am, man. After hey, Colin, man, blah, blah. I don't do him like that.
Yeah.
But
Well,
because you have a conversation on social media, well, I call it social media too, but these platforms, like you talking about somebody don't share, like this is where I don't like when people take stuff and they don't want to talk about hater, they're throwing fuel to the fire because it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, overall, I think people understand where you guys were coming from. I don't think that it was a situation where, it was any disrespect out there. But people are gonna have their own opinion about things. But as long as you and Seymour and as long as you guys are good, then that's all it is. And I think that's what you said,
I'm good. Coach Graham, he one of them too. He be all, you over talked to him, you were rude to him. I'm gonna say this. He's a grown man. If he felt that was rude, he could. I'm just saying, I'm being honest. He's a grown man with children. If he felt that way, he could be like, hey, coach, man, you're going too far. That doesn't mean he's not a nice guy.
Right.
But all of these people, it's like you feel like I was picking on a third grader. That's how I'm looking. Like I feel bad. Like, what are y'all talking about? We're two guys, never cursed him out. I was like, what are we talking about? That's my man right there. What's up? He live?
Hey, are you live?
Tell him to hit the link. Come on in.
Why you not coming in? What's going on?
Dang, dog. Yeah. Like, they're taking it too far. They're taking this too far. The fan base, and again, like I said, I want him to come on, please. I can't hear. I can't hear anything he's saying. I can't hear anything he's saying.
Get one in right quick for mine.
Oh, he said he got to get one in right quick.
That's fair. He can get one in, no problem. I just want to be clear.
But what you think about did you have any backlash from the Coach Hayes show on your end?
Backlash? Well, I'm gonna get backlash for her.
People saying like Coach Hayes hating or something.
Oh no, Coach Hayes my guy, man. He good.
So no, but these people in here talking about.
Say that to all the people in the comments so they'll hear you.
Coach Hayes my guy. He good.
Anything else you want to add to let them know, man? Because they're in the comments saying Coach Hayes tried to disrespect you. Coach Hayes tried to cut you off. Coach Hayes didn't let you talk. I'm doing like Nori right now. I'm calling Nori like Drink Champs. Nori's like, yeah, I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna call him right now.
Yeah, no. You know none of that stuff don't matter to me like that. No, he good. He good people.
Yeah, man. I from the video that I watched of you guys interaction, I thought it was just, for one, Coach Hayes is Coach Hayes. You gonna be you. I thought it was just a back and forth going on. I think he was responding to just like he did on the show while I was talking right here. He was doing like this, or he did some posturing. Yeah. But he responded to what he's seeing in the chat also. So people might have thought that while you was talking and he doing like this or something, they might have he disrespecting Colin or whatever. I didn't see the disrespect, and I felt like if you would have saw the disrespect or felt it, you would have said something.
Yeah, no, he good. He good. That's my guy.
I ain't gonna lie, dog. They done beat me into submission. I'm just gonna agree with everybody, bro. Because like they gonna hear right now. They about to say right now. You know what they're gonna say? Oh, Colin just saying that because he want to be nice. That's gonna be the next words. I'm telling you. Like this stuff crazy, bro. Like these fans are this is not just Colorado. This is everybody. It's like, but somebody said, "Could they be messing with you?" But this is how you drive wedges between.
I made y'all bad though.
Okay.
All right, do your thing, man. But this is how people drive wedges between people.
Right, and there's no need for it.
bro, this is how people drive wedges. And what I'm saying is, I was disrespectful. Okay. Whoa, Zion said, I never seen the disrespect. Thank you, Zion. Whew. I ain't never
And
thought I would do that.
Tony said it wasn't disrespecting, it was sports talk. That's all. Thank you. I wouldn't expect Colin to say more than that. I never seen the disrespect. Zion, oh, that's the one you saw.
Now that's Zion now. He be on my head. But all the ladies on here, for some reason, all the ladies, I might not be as cute as Colin, and I get it. Oh, I get it. He
Hey,
young,
look,
he's
look at
strapping
this
young man. Coach got a great chin strap. I may not be ready, man. So I get it, ladies. But y'all relax. Y'all doing too much.
Coach Hayes, is a lot. It's a lot of trolls on this here internet. You can't listen to them all. Can't listen to all the comments, bro. That's what I told you.
Well, I agree. But what I don't want to make happen is I want to be clear. I don't care about the trolls.
And
what I want to make clear.
I appreciate.
Yeah, but I want to make clear that kind of stuff, and I'm not saying Colin believes that. I'm just saying that kind of stuff drives wedges between folks. And I want to make sure I was clear with that. I don't care about what anybody say on here. Right. I want to make sure that like you are, like I call a man an idiot, you stupid, you this, you dumb. Man, you don't know what you talking about. You ain't play no foot. I never said any of that stuff. I asked football questions.
Right. So much love to Seymour, man. Much love to his fam out there checking in, everybody else, man. I know we kind of prolonged this a little bit longer, Coach Hayes. I appreciate you checking in with me, man. This our first on-camera conversation. We're gonna have another one. Y'all tune in to Coach Hayes show. You already know what it is. Just type it in, Coach Hayes Football, and we'll be on there live next Thursday, all up in your face, straight out of FLA.
8 o'clock Eastern. 8 o'clock Eastern.
8 o'clock Eastern time. We're gonna go. I'm gonna make sure I'm on point for that. 8 o'clock Eastern time. Y'all check in. Anything else you want to add, Coach Hayes?
No, man. Listen, I'm here for it, man. I just want to say this to the people out there. I get it. Some people say, some lady just say, I'm a lady. I never seen you talk positive. You ain't go back in enough videos. But anyway, I'm just saying, man, guys, don't take this fandom. You know, I get it. I want you to support Colorado, but you have to also remember this too. Myself, Chico, Colin, all these people, we're content creators, right? If the content is not created, you have to understand this. You want to create conversation. Imagine if Chico asked me a question, I'd be like, yeah.
Right.
No, I didn't say that. It would be terrible. So you're here to create conversations. I want people to understand that everything that you see in here always has context too.
Right.
So go back and check it, right? Look at the whole thing. Don't look at a snippet. Check the context of these things, right? And it's fun. It's entertainment. I want Coach Prime to whoop everybody behind, but I'm using from my experiences what I know. I'm not 100% right, but I'm just talking from my experiences, okay? And so I say all that to say I thank y'all. Y'all can check us out, Coach Hayes Football, on all platforms, and I'm good, man. I appreciate you, Chico. Reached out to you, Rob. Hooked me up. Well, he told me I was going to reach out to you. Instagram, DM me or whatever. And we talked and we jumped straight on. No pressure.
Straight up. And that's how it's going to be, man. That's how it should be. You know what I mean? Keep the lines of communication open. To no disrespect. It's all love. You know what I mean? There's enough people out here in this world to check in for all of us as long as we making good content. You understand? So respect to you, man. Been watching you for a long time. Keep it up. Don't worry about the haters, dog. Don't worry about the haters.
It ain't the haters. I'm worried about the wedge makers.
The wedge makers. That's another good one right there. I like that. You might need to coin that. You feel me? So I appreciate you joining in, man. We're going to get about this thing. Hey, everybody, y'all leave a like, subscribe, comment. Make sure y'all do that. We're nothing without you guys. Make sure y'all share it and tag us in it. And we up and about this thing. Peace in the Middle East. You already know what it is. PR.
Peace.